Sam Perryman in the gas tank. Boom boom! Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully. I've no idea what the fuck that was about, but now it is time to solve the puzzle. And, again, as I mentioned in the previous part, this is very much a take a screenshot of the finished result and, work backwards from there, because, well, again, you do have a bit of a hint in that, you know, you have 3 gas caps. Excuse me. And then again, you gotta place them in very specific areas, and you gotta twist the dials, which, again, the maintenance log does show off, so you're not completely left in the dark, but you are left very much with the fiddly, okay, this combination doesn't work, maybe I'll try this. And again, you're pretty much just constantly going back and forth, up and down, trying to figure out where the placement of any of these valves and puzzle things are supposed to work. And ostensibly, all you're trying to do is just get some petrol out of the thing, and that's pretty much it, really. So yeah, apart from anything else similar to that of the infinite room, just follow the puzzle here and you should be okay. And if you're not, then, well, I don't know, maybe get some cheat codes. Even though I don't think Tormented Souls actually has any cheat codes. Well, I mean, I suppose maybe apart from looking up the solution to how to get the modified nail gun and the... Hang on, better turn that down. Because it is a little bit loud. Apologize for my croaky voice, I just recently had a pizza for a dinner. And yeah, the grease is gonna make me talk a little bit funny. But anyway, now that we have Sam Perryman in the gas tank, boom boom, we can now finally... Do we have a save of the game? I can't remember. Oh, I think we might just move on at this point, because... Or do we? I do know there is another save point in the graveyard, but I don't know if I go back between now and then, because I'm paranoid. If I save often, it means I am either very cautious, or I am a coward. And the answer to both those questions is yes. No, I think we're just heading straight down. Ooh, whoa. God, now I'm in a musical mood for Eskimo Joe. Anyway, so you pour the gas canister in there and pretty much start this thing up like a lawnmower. Whee! It's kind of weird how they don't actually have, like, any animate hands doing this. I mean, it's in, like, you know, the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake as well, so... Just as weird there to see these items just sort of floating around like phantom... whatever the fucks. But yeah, 3 good tugs, much like... Nah, that's a bit too crass. Joke abort. But yeah, the water is now drained, and you get to go through all the icky moss. And that pretty much leads us to the final area of the game. So yeah, we have... Well, I tell a lie, we do have a few more battles left before us. Including, the one and only boss fight in the game. I mean, well... Would you even consider the Tormented Soul a boss? I mean, it just sort of flies around and gets in your way, but it's not really a boss, and... As I've shown throughout the commentary, you can kind of easily stump the thing if you know what you're doing, so... Yes, who knows, really. Anyway, the final diary entry. And a really cool artwork of the cult member. It's basically them realizing, oh shit, we've been worshipping something that's very evil, and we've made a very big mistake. Kind of funny that nobody really realizes this, apart from the very insane or the very stupid. So again, it does also make me wonder if, you know, for a potential Tormented Souls 2, is there another sect of the cult out there? Is there gonna be more adventures in Caroline/Emma's future? Who knows? I mean, given how the game's panned out, it could entirely be just a one-and-done deal in terms of what Tormented Souls is narratively, but... Again, I am very curious. I would like to see more games done in this style, which, does actually bring me to a bit of trivia, but we got a cutscene coming up, so, I'll save that for later.
Emma, my dear granddaughter, you finally reunite with your sister.
Noah.
You survived the fall from the old bridge. This is a divine sign, a true miracle. God tested my faith, and now that I have been found worthy, you have been brought back to me.
What is your role in all of this?
My role? I orchestrated all of it. 14 years ago, I made a mistake that I have regretted every single day. This time, I won't let you escape. I have you just where I want you.
What the hell are you talking about?
It is finally time for the ritual. With your and your sister's blood, we will finally witness the birth of our Savior. In his endless grace, he will make me the new Pope, the Supreme Pontiff. Every conceited prick in the Vatican will rot in this stinging town.
You are insane. You killed my dad, and because of you, your own daughter and my sister Anna have been poisoned by that damned radiation. What kind of monster are you?
A monster? You call me a monster? I was willing to sacrifice everything I loved in the name of the Creator. He will be born again to purify the earth of these unholy souls. Only the true heirs of the kingdom of God will prevail and create a new world. After what your sister did to her eyes, I thought we would never be able to open the vault again. You two are the last remaining twins with the sacred blood. I must thank you for giving me access to this place. I could not have done it by myself, but you, to take one of your eyes out, that was absolutely genius.
I won't let you use my sister and me for your sinister purposes.
There is nothing you can do to stop it. We are the Pollux sect, descendants of the ones that brought light and darkness. We are the heirs chosen to reign above every being that walks this earth.
You are insane.
This time, there's no bridge to jump from. Rejoice! You are about to fulfill your sacred destiny. There's no running away.
I don't plan to run away. I'm coming for you.
Get her! Prepare the twins for the blood offering!
Well, here we go. Well, actually no, this isn't the final boss fight. I mean, obviously, you're pretty much just fighting off against the regular cult members, but there is a bit of an exploit here. Not necessarily what you're seeing right now, but you might notice they gradually move towards you. My little strategy is, and again, I didn't really think of this at the time, so I kinda got my buttocks creamed. Oh, that's a bit of a dirty metaphor, but yeah, basically, get them all in a conga line and just, well... excuse me. Basically just watch the fun unfold. Again, they'll be blocked by their own cult members, so they won't phase through them. And yeah, just basically play a conga line where one goes down, you pretty much just block them. I mean, bear in mind though, while you can make these members complete chumps, yeah, they do hit hard and they do have two modes of attack. I think you might be seeing the spinning one around this point, but yeah, they also have an overhead swing, which does a lot of damage. Oh no! So yeah, save up your shotgun ammo and pretty much use the taser to stun them and take pot shots with the modified nail gun. See, look at this. Curses, she's very gradually getting away. Because Caroline's walking speed is slightly faster than... Yeah. Well, I mean, that can happen, but that's only if you try and cheat the system, and I guess that's the less damaging attack. But anyway, like, I mean, yeah, Caroline's walking speed is slightly faster than it, so, yeah, we're basically playing a game of ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, tissue with tissue, Black Plague metaphor. Seriously, look at this. If I could be asked to edit, then there would be some yakety sax music going on. But anyway, that's not really very important compared to motivations. Grandfather Noah, he wants to be the Pope because he likes power and does things with a brouhaha, and is also nuts. A bit of a weak metaphor, I'll admit, but, I don't know. Whoever his voice actor is, I do very much like his performance, and he does carry himself pretty well as a villain, but... yeah, a bit disappointing that it just turned out into a sort of, you know, generic, I'm evil and I want power kind of thing. Now we can finally get out of the mansion using this. Oh yeah, be sure to check the alcoves as well for some hidden goodies slash essential healing items that you might need if you played a bit carelessly. But among other more prescient matters, as we ascend up the stairs, Yes, indeedy, the Tormented Souls. Fat Danny DeVito's penguin was in fact Anna Wildberger. Now, you might be wondering a few things. With Anna dead before Caroline, freed her from the cell, would this creature have existed without, Emma's interference? That is a very good question. Will the game answer as such? Well, we don't really know. And I'll get to that point a little bit later, because we have pretty much technically three choices here. And this pretty much also affects, the good, bad, and, well, neutral ending. Again, well, no, we can't have we can't have you wear clothes, because, goddamn. But no, we can't make her eat videotapes either. Again, you can either choose to just leave her and move on to the final boss, which will necessitate the bad ending for you. You can pretty much use the scalpel to cut her neck and put her out of her misery, or you can use the serum that you get by completing the infinite room. By the way, I do apologize for the mood whiplash with the editing here. I know that scene was technically voiceless, but yeah, I do apologize for, well again, I had 96's face pretty much cutting a lot of the tension of that scene. And, yeah, I am still going for the neutral ending, but at the same time I do still like doing this, doing the infinite room and, curing Anna of her affliction with the radiation, so to speak. It kind of bookends the game for me quite nicely, and, yeah, you also require these. You do have a use for these, even though you're right towards the end of the game, but not the way that you might think. Gonna be thinking, fourth dimensionally. But yeah, nothing really to talk about there anymore. Anna has been laid to rest, and we've gotta go. And I suppose, since I probably won't have much of a chance to, well, talk about this anywhere else, and again, since this is the final part, yeah, might as well mention some trivia that I may have mentioned before, so I do apologize, but, well, I can't remember if I already stated this or not, so thank nomine. But yeah, the developers of Dual Effect, particularly the lead directors behind the game, are twin brothers, Gabriel and German, Aranades? I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And guess what the game's story is revolving around? Twins! Well, right where you know, I guess. But I mean, I will say, in spite of some criticisms with the plot that I am going to be talking about a little bit towards the end of the video, and indeed for the bonus video that's coming next time to talk about the other endings, yeah, a pretty good story overall with the one major caveat. So anyway, let's just have a save of the game, and we are golden, dude. Onwards to new adventure, and yeah, this is the final, technically first, final? Whatever, the one boss of the game, which, well, I mean, you can kind of see why they don't have a lot more boss fights in the game than in fact they do, but, well, I mean, I will say this, in terms of atmosphere and scale, it kind of fits, and actually, even if unintentionally, given how popular the game is among, the wider horror gaming community, it does actually pay a nice reference to Silent Hill Downpour. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say for now, so I'll take a drink of the Pepsi, and you can enjoy yet another cutscene with the hammy villain that is Noah Morissette. And this is also where I performed the jump glitch that I did before, but it didn't work. I'm sad now.
So, you killed those fools? They were not worthy of the pollux sect after all.
This is over, Noah. Your gruesome dream ends here. Without the blood of the twins, you won't be able to bring that thing back to life.
I have waited so long to revive our savior. I will show you that my faith has no limit.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, my child, if only you had faith.
So here we go, final boss of the game. The malformed version of God, which... I kinda have to wonder exactly what Noah was thinking during that. Like, I mean, he went to all this trouble to get twins to perform the ritual, and I suppose he intended to do so with Anna and Emma being killed, but he instead does it himself, even though his twin brother died in utero? I guess it kinda necessitated a final boss, and I suppose he thought that maybe both of his blood would be necessary enough for the sacrifice. But anyway, I'll talk more about the final boss fight now. So, yeah, basically, your first phase is pretty much shoot it enough till it becomes stunned, then it releases its tendrils on the mechanism, which they were using to... Actually, what were they using it for? I suppose maybe they were using it to drill underground towards where they would have found the holy placenta. Or at least, I suppose maybe where they would have initially found it. Maybe it was a Tismet tribe thing? I don't know. Maybe some of the reasoning is a bit haphazard, or maybe it just, runs on assumed logic that this is where the Wildberger mansion where Bertram built it would have been on the side of, you know, where a lot of the indigenous tribes would have performed their rituals. Or at least I suppose. But in any case, you basically want to get all the locking mechanisms into the 3 holes. If you manage to fuck one up, which I think I do for the last one, yeah, then you pretty much gotta go right back around, shoot the boss again, wait for it to release, and, you know, bada bing, you do the thing. Not exactly the most intense boss, but it is quite reminiscent of the Wheelman boss fight from Silent Hill Downpour. Although, a little bit less intense. I mean, it does shoot blood at you, but yeah, that's about pretty much all it does. I mean, at the very least, the Wheelman had some psychokinetic stuff, and you were kind of... Well, thematically, it was kind of appropriate since Murphy was putting Frank out of his misery, but... yeah, pretty much works on the very similar principles. You're just releasing the drill and hoping that this drill can pierce the heavens. That being said though, I do quite like the design ethos of this boss in terms of its looks. Because I mean, if you look very closely, again, you can see a bit of Noah's face in there, but again, you also see, I suppose what is meant to be a representation of Methuselah, who was, again, his twin brother who died, which, again, it makes for a very nice design from the final boss, I find. Even if a bit well, I wouldn't say nonsensical in terms of context, but lacking in a bit of data. And again, if you're running low on ammo, you have plenty strewn about the arena, so... again, a decent final boss overall, although... again, compared to some other survival horror games, you might find this one a little bit lacking compared to your average, you know, Resident Evil Silent Hill romp. There we go. Did we screw up? Oh no. Maybe that might have been an unused take, or maybe I waffled over it. Whatever. It's time for the boss to end!
It's over, Noah. How many girls were sacrificed for that thing? Those bastards won't hurt anyone ever again.
Okay, and re-recording again, because apparently the first take was just so fucking good that my computer crashed. Fuck you. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Final boss is dead, Caroline won, everything is kind of in ruin, and we also find out how Noah managed to get down from the bunker to the god place, greasy suite? Yeah, he had a lift. Kind of funny that none of the cult members found out about it, although then again, I suppose for the duration of the several decades they were in captivity, maybe the elevator was raised, so that was how, I suppose, Noah got out the first time? Maybe it was only available to, like, very specialized members, like, you know, Bertram or whatever? I don't know, really, but, yeah, this is pretty much our victory lap. I mean, most games at this point would have probably cut to credits or had one final hurrah, but, oh, this is it. I wonder why that is? Well, there is a bit of a reason for it, but, we ain't gonna find out till next time. But yeah, to kind of talk about the soundtrack, really beautiful piano piece that plays here. Really makes you feel like you've earned your victory after such a... Well, I mean, I wouldn't say a difficult boss fight if you... depending on whether or not you know what you're doing, but... Again, it's, a battle well fought and well won. So, off we go. And yeah, no more enemies, nothing to really worry about here. Since I suppose a lot of the reason for the monster's presence was due to the radiation, you know, mutating the metals and, equipment with, you know, evil godliness. Although at the same time, though, that does actually kind of raise a bit of a point, because, again, as you might remember, obviously with Anna's transformation, yeah, Maria herself was also transforming into a monster, so... especially considering the fact that she entered the bunker without a radiation suit, so it does leave me wondering for a potential Tormented Souls 2. Since Caroline entered there without a radiation suit while the god placenta was still active, does that mean she would have encountered some sort of radiation sickness, or something like that? Huh. Possible sequel hook, I suppose, or, again, this might just be a one-game deal, which... You know, I mean, that'd be fine. I think Tormented Souls could easily be a story that only needs one game to tell its story in that case, but... I don't know, I'm curious to see what the developers could do now that they have a formula down. Let's take these treasured memories of the videotapes. I mean, even though we can still move around at this point and use those tapes... Oh well, let's flog them on the internet, you know, sell them for a movie deal or an idea. I mean, the found footage horror craze was about, like 4 or 5 years away at this point, so who knows? The Blair Tormented Souls project? The Blair Noah project? Wished. Anyway, let's just take one look around this place, as everything is barred off and we can't really go anywhere else apart from, well, the meeting room and this place. But alas, we can't play the piano. We can't ever hear things ever again. Let's take a look at these bolt cutters. I guess we'll never truly know what their purpose was for. You know, cutting through chains. Maybe she needs a videotape in order to tell her how to do this. But whatever, that's pretty much the end of the game. Open the door, and yeah, we have the neutral ending. So on that note, I'm gonna have a drink of the Pepsi, kind of sit back for a little bit, and you can pretty much watch the ending. And yeah, the bonus ending will, or the bonus video will cover the other endings. Catch you in a bit.
After all, no matter how hard we want it, we can't change the past.
And, yeah, that was Tormented Souls. The neutral ending and, I tell a lie, because again, the endings do have very specific naming schemas. There's, well, they kind of spoil everything, but, the bad ending is called Remorse, which is incredibly fucking bizarre, because I think that's what this ending should have been called. And the neutral ending is called Forgetfulness, which I feel applies more to the bad ending, since it's kind of a stealth insult to the player for getting the bad ending. But whatever, Tormented Souls. First thing I want to say about the game is, well, not about the game, but more so the commentary, is that I do apologize for how sporadically this kind of came up. I mean, it interrupted a fair bit of Kingdom Hearts 2, I was very inconsistent with uploading it, and again, I do apologize about that, but I don't know, me deciding to do this was very spur of the moment, and I am glad that I finally got this finished and, you know, went through the whole thing, because, again, while it isn't very popular in terms of viewership, it is a game that I do actually genuinely quite like. I mean, it follows a lot of the survival horror tropes tried and true, and again, it really does pay attention to a lot of the good points of its analysis. Again, the investigative elements are great, the whole control schema, the way it handles the monsters. Again, it's a pretty stand-up example of the survival horror genre working in a modern-day video game. I mean, again, it does wear its influences on its sleeve, obviously. I mean, again, you could call it Resident Evil Remake with a dash of Silent Hill, but I feel like that's giving the game too little credit, because again, it does have its own mythos, it has its own unique art style, so again, I really enjoy what the game put down. In terms of any problems I would really have with it, well, again, apart from a few explanations for certain things, whether or not they're saving for a sequel or anything is anybody's guess at this point, but yeah, the only real thing I have against the game in terms of its narrative is the time travel. And again, it is time travel because, again, we saw Anna dead in the cells in the first time, but after that she, well, was alive, gave birth to the tormented soul / Anna Wildburger monster, and again, when you start playing with time travel, the logic begins to get very loosey-goosey, because if Anna was dead, then wouldn't that screw over Noah's plans? I don't know. Again, I'll get into this a little bit more in the bonus video, but yeah, Tormented Souls. Fun game, reasonably strong story up until the time travel stuff starts getting introduced, but even then it's kind of negligible unless you get the good ending. But anyway, in terms of future commentaries, coming up next we've got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and yeah, I'm pretty much playing that for Tails' Australian birthday. And this is the ending I got. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit for the bonus video. Catch you next time.